found a new species. It wasn't a new species. It wasn't a new species. But in this video, I will show you how Alaska citizens helped me to find and describe a new species of snakeworm gnat, and how you can help a scientist to find a new species too. Let's dig in. Hi there, I'm Dr. Thales Pereira. I'm a Brazilian scientist, entomologist, who works with bugs, and I'm currently working at a Museum of Comparative Zoology at Harvard. Let's start to take a moment to think about what's your favorite bug or insect. You probably thought about flies, right? If not, it's okay. Nobody's perfect. But can you imagine help a scientist to describe a new species within this group? How amazing that would be. Could you imagine the joy of helping a scientist to find a new species? But first things first, you might be wondering, what is a snakeworm gnat? They are really tiny flies from the family Sciaridae. They also know black fung gnats. They are called snakeworm gnats because when they are migrating as a larvae together, they look like a snake. Two citizens from Esther, Alaska, reported the behavior for the first time in a local newspaper, and that was an amazing first step. Then they contacted one of my co-authors asking, do you know what's this weird larvae migrating together? This was in 2007. 15 years later, when I started working at the Museum of the North, University of Fairbanks, Alaska, I proceed analyzing the specimens, and I use 3 different methods to do so. First, morphology, and this is pretty straightforward. We compare the shape, forms, and colors of the specimens with the species that we already know. For instance, you can distinguish a bee in this slide. What cues did you use to distinguish this bee from the other insects and bugs? Probably was the morphology, the color, how many legs, how many wings, the shapes, right? You use the morphology to do so. The second step, we analyze the molecular data, DNA data. For that, we use DNA barcode. But what's the DNA barcode? Have you been in the supermarket and scanned a products that have a barcode? That barcode it's a sequence of numbers that the system can read and identify the item that you are scanning. We have a similar system that we call DNA barcode, where we have a sequence of letters that we can compare between the species and tell them apart, like a DNA barcode. The most commonly used gene to do that is the CO1, that stands for cytochrome C oxidase subunit 1. So when we got these data, we put them with the species that are close related, and then we can see if they are more close related or not, like a family tree. When you is more closely related with your brother, but less related with a third cousin. So we have morphology that already tells apart our species from others. We have the DNA data that also reinforce it, and we want to add more data from the citizen scientists. You remember that the first time the species was found in 2007 was by a citizen. So we want to gather more data from scientists. And how can we get this data? So we use data from the app iNaturalist. iNaturalist is a free social app where you can add photos of the nature, especially animals, plants, mushrooms that you can find. After getting data from the iNaturalist, we surprisingly found some records that we didn't have before, from places in Alaska that we haven't recorded before. Additionally, the citizen scientists also voted for the new name and put a new name in the species. It's a big thing. We gave them 3 names and they voted. The name that which have more votes was Sciura serpens. Serpens in Latin means snake. Makes sense, right? In conclusion, I would like to encourage you to download the free app, and you can use this QR code and start adding records for all the animals and plants that you can find around your house, in your garden, in the park close to your house, and your school. Take photos of every animal that you can find in nature and post on that app. You probably will be amazed how biodiversity you can find around you. And maybe in the future help a scientist to find and describe a new species. Thank you so much for watching this video and feel free to reach me out with questions. Ciao ciao!